What is up, everyone? Today we're back with some big news out of Storm Arena. The Alpha 3 Akuma has been revealed and the pre-order has dropped. Before we get into the breakdown of this, I want to thank each and every one of you for helping me get past 500 subscribers. That was the first milestone for this channel when we started about 6 months ago, and we finally reached that, and that is super awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting and engaging. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. That's the next milestone, and I know you guys can help me get there. So be sure to subscribe if you aren't already subscribed. And now let's get into the breakdown of the Alpha 3 Akuma. This is a highly anticipated character out of Storm Arena's Alpha 3 line. We've been loving everything they've been putting out, so we knew that they were going to kill it with this Akuma drop. And about a week ago, we saw them release that small preview image, getting everyone in a frenzy, getting everyone hyped to see what the rest of this figure looked like. So finally today, February 27th, Storm Arena drops the full promo photo shoot as well as the pre-order on BigBadToyStore. So we're going to go ahead and break down, look at some of these promo images. Here, this one on the left, we see his wide shoulders, the kanji on the back. I'm really liking that. He's looking big and menacing. We see a close-up of the face sculpt here, which is looking really nice. I'm loving the large beads there. And we see him in his full body shot here, looking cool, looking really good. Now, I was worried about the proportion of the arms on the original prototypes. They were looking just a little bit too exaggerated, a little bit too big, and I think they did pull that in a little bit, but his arms are still noticeably larger, which looks cool. It's setting him apart from the Ryu and the Ken. They might be a little, just a tad too large. The proportions are looking a little bit odd, but nothing, nothing too major. I think when in his regular posing, he's looking really good and is representing that Alpha 3 character, because in the design for Alpha 3, Akuma is exaggerated in that way. He has those large arms. So I think once you get him posing, once you get him in where you want him to be, he's going to look really cool. Now, I will say, because of the bulkiness of his arms, it looks like here we're getting a bit of a limited range in that elbow, more like we saw on Sagat than the range that we get with Ryu and Ken, which is much better. But that's just a small detriment for a really cool design on the figure with the larger arms. Now, we do see here one thing, cool detail that Storm is including is that you're getting two gis that comes with the Akuma. You get one with the kanji on the back and one without, which I think is a great little detail, especially for the price point of the $30. Getting an extra gi, I think, is a really awesome detail for Storm to add. Now, a lot of people were talking about the kanji on the gi being a little bit odd. It looks like it's embossed and looks raised, kind of like it's a patch on the back, when it really should be sort of energy protruding through, since the kanji is coming from his actual back. But I think when you have it on the shelf and stuff, it shouldn't be too big of an issue, but I think it would have been maybe cooler to see it look more like energy peeking through from his skin. Now, we're going to look at some more shots here. Again, some of the proportions you can see in the arms. I think the arms are a little bit smaller on the final version, but I do have a small gripe, is that the head sculpts on this final version are looking just a tad bit small. His head in certain angles and in certain photographs is looking pretty small. You can see that it's actually noticeably smaller than the earlier prototypes that we saw for this Akuma figure. But again, I think that is more of an Alpha 3 design. I think the character design, his head is slightly smaller, but I think when you have the figure and you're seeing it in 3D space and in hand, I'm going to say that they're just looking a tad bit too small on the head sculpts in the final version. But those are really my only gripes with what we're seeing out of these promo shots. Everything else looks good. Of course, the detail on the gi, in the rope belt, everything on the detail is looking really nice. The paint is looking nice. Storm is going to kill it when it comes to those sorts of details. We're going to go into a little bit more as to what he comes with. So not only does he come with his two gis, he comes with 3 interchangeable hands. He comes with 2 head sculpts. his sort of stoic face and his gritting teeth face. He comes with his purple fireball effect, which is really cool. I was kind of hoping we would see him come with the sort of flame aura arm pieces that we've seen before, but I imagine that's probably coming in a future color variant with this Akuma figure. And then he's also, of course, coming with the 2 gis and a stand. So, you know, Storm Arena is providing a lot of value for these figures at the $29.99 price point, and you can expect for this to release Q4 2026 in Hong Kong. Man, now that is a caveat, so this will be released at the end of the year within Hong Kong, but if you are a US collector, you're going to be waiting that Big Bad Toy Store shipping this, you know, sailing the 7 seas, and you're probably not going to see this till Q1 of 2027. Now that might be even later Q1 2027, like February, March. So that is unfortunate if you were hoping to get this figure in hand this year and pay the $30 price point. But if you're like me, if you're like a lot of other collectors out there, it's going to be releasing from Hong Kong by the end of this year, where you can pay that extra premium to get that shipped from Hong Kong. You're probably looking at around $70 to get that figure shipped from Hong Kong, but you most likely can have this in hand by the end of the year if you're willing to go that route. Now we have some other exciting news, not just the Akuma drop. We have the Ryu, the Ken, the Player 1 versions, as well as the Sagat, which have been sold out for a while now, are dropping as pre-orders on Big Bad Toy Store as well. That's huge, exciting news, because from a collector standpoint, we've been seeing a lot of people complaining that they're pumping out all of these variants, all these exclusives that are more expensive, and people are wanting just the regular Player 1 versions, which Storm is not really known to do as far as re-releasing figures. But now we see here with the Storm Arena line, they're willing to do that. They're willing to fulfill what the customers want and give us pre-orders or give us re-releases of those Player 1 figures. So that's huge news for anyone that wasn't able to grab them originally. Kind of bad news if you're a reseller trying to get tons of money for these, but awesome for the collector, because I know people who maybe got in a little bit late on the Storm Arena line have really wanted to pick these up. So you can see here, not only is the Akuma pre-order up for $29.99, set to release Q4 of 2026, the Akuma, we have Player 1 Sagat, Ryu, and Ken set to release June of this year as currently up as a pre-order, but you can have those figures in hand here in a few months if you were wanting to grab those and didn't get a chance to originally. So that's awesome. Cool to see that Storm is doing that, and that just sets a precedent for moving forward, that if some of these figures are selling out like Charlie and Dan did, they also just went back up for pre-order. They were sold out for a while. So if you were looking to get Dan and Charlie, those are also currently on Big Bad Toy Store for pre-order. So it looks like Storm has kind of understand the demand for these figures and maybe is starting to produce more to get more of those to hit here overseas to collectors that are wanting them. So that's awesome news. Storm, I think, is doing a very smart move with that, because they don't want to leave any of these collectors out. They don't want to leave any money on the table. They know that they have a huge cash cow in this Storm Arena line, and they're going to start fulfilling those needs. So really great to see that. But again, guys, super exciting news. Storm Arena has just continued to hit us with new stuff and new things to talk about, which is really great for the collectors, really great for us with YouTube channels here. So shout out to Storm Arena. They've been killing it this first quarter of the year 2026 with news and previews and things like that. So can't wait to see some of these figures start hitting shelves, start hitting retailers, so we can start getting these things in hand. But I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. If you haven't already, these are up and available on Big Bad Toy Store. Not sure how many are being produced of these, how fast these might sell out, but be sure to run over there right now and get your pre-orders in before these sell out. So thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate you spending some time with us today. And again, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so if you love this kind of content, please subscribe, please like, drop some hype points, or leave a comment below. Let me know, are you picking up some of these reissues? Did you miss out on Ryu, Ken, and Sagat when they first released? And are you also picking up the Akuma? If you're there pre-ordering, you might as well, because this is a killer figure looking really great. Let me know what you think below. Thanks, guys, and see you next time.